Coming up in the news tonight, it is a new day, and the Progressive Liberal Party will now form the new government of the Bahamas. Also, we have reaction to the PLP's win and an election day murder in 8 Mile Rock. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shoshina Wolf-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, it is a new day in the Bahamas as the people have chosen to elect a new government to represent the country over the next 5 years. Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis sworn in during a private ceremony earlier today after leading the Progressive Liberal Party to a landslide victory at the polls, capturing 32 of the 39 seats. Tonight, the campaign coordinator for Grand Bahama and Bimini celebrating the victory and shares plans for the way forward. Campaign coordinator of Grand Bahama and Bimini, Keith Russell, says for this election, the aim was to simply get on the ground, knock on doors, and give the PLP's plan to restoring this economy. And he says based on the results, it was well received.
I think that the brilliance of the teams that were directing our campaign this time, we decided to take the campaign up here that had message and substance, and let people make a decision from there about what we were doing. The other folks were taking the message down here, and I think all the mudslinging, the things that usually happen at election times, that's what they continued with, the old stuff. We went to a new place, to a new day.
And that resulted in a landslide victory for the Progressive Liberal Party, who had previously only captured 4 seats during the last election. But this time around has been able to secure some 32 seats, taking out many political giants within the Free National Movement. We asked Russell if he imagined this wave.
In fact, I wanted a few more seats. I think for me, as coordinator for Grand Bahama and Bimini, I wanted all 5 seats in the area. The leader of the party, Philip Brave Davis, said he wanted the whole hog. And I was trying everything in my power to give him the whole hog.
Here on Grand Bahama, the PLP captured the West Grand Bahama and Bimini seat along with Pine Ridge.
In both in the cases of Central and East Grand Bahama, they're still in recount now. Last I heard going into the recount, Central was like 24. Iram Lewis was 24 votes ahead of Mr. Kirk Russell. So who knows? Sometime this afternoon, we could have another seat on our side.
It may be a new day, but it is also day one, and it is time to hit the ground running.
Well, there are some low-hanging fruits that we can start with. Things like removing the ridiculous travel visa. It's small things. But if you look at our economic plan, you will see that there is some things in there for Grand Bahama particularly, some things that can be done very quickly. For instance, we left the past administration, a school in West Grand Bahama that was close to 90% completed. It's sat there, it's still sitting there. That we can do very quickly. An administration building that was perhaps 50% completed in 8 Mile Rock. That's something we can do very quickly. And get that out of the way and get people working. You can imagine the amount of jobs we can get out of completing that administration building and also that school. Yeah, so it's going to revive the area. It's the beginning of what's going to happen in Grand Bahama. Of course, PLP has promised that we're going to have a new hospital, promised a new airport, and it's promised that we're going to do something with that debacle they call the hotel on the Strip. We are beginning to do the work already. We're going to hit the ground running.
Shoshina Wolf-Farkas, ZNS Network News. Well, Pine Ridge was billed as one of the seats to watch, the frontrunners being incumbent Frederick McAlpine, a former F&M turned independent police officer, Wellborn Boodle for the F&M, and newcomer to politics for the PLP, businesswoman Ginger MOXEY. But when the votes were tallied, MOXEY was able to take Pine Ridge into the PLP's win column. MOXEY, other PLP candidates and supporters taking part in a massive victory celebration at PLP headquarters last night. Well, our Ramiko Knowles spoke with the member of parliament-elect about the big win.
It was an outpouring of love and support for Member of Parliament-elect for the Pine Ridge constituency, Ginger MOXEY, who arrived to the PLP's headquarters shortly after it was revealed that she will now represent the people of Pine Ridge in the halls of Parliament. The Pine Ridge constituency was deemed as a hotly contested seat and one to watch during the electoral process. MOXEY says she's overjoyed by the victory.
Actually, I feel great for the people of Pine Ridge. They need action. They need things to be done on their behalf. And I'm happy I have a team that came together and made it happen. We had a wonderful campaign. We had great opponents. And so we're looking forward to just getting things done. We've already started to do a lot of things in the community. And we'll just continue with the programs that we have in Pine Ridge.
And now that the Progressive Liberal Party will govern the country's affairs, MOXEY says it's a new day for the people of Grand Bahama.
I've been involved in our platform development, and so I know what we have in store. I'm sure you've seen, or many have seen, our blueprint for the country, and Grand Bahama will have a key role in this. Pine Ridge, for sure, will benefit from it.
She adds that the win is a victory for all Bahamians, and the people of the Bahamas can now expect great representation along with partnerships.
Because I believe we have to partner together in order for things to happen, and they can expect to see results. I've said a lot of times, we can all have plans, but it's about the execution of the plan, and that's what I'm about.
As the celebration continued, the other ratified candidates who did not win their seats arrived at the headquarters to thank all of the persons who supported them during their campaigns. MOXEY says, with the support of the entire branch of the Progressive Liberal Party, she is certain that they will not disappoint. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Well, the Pine Ridge constituency had 6 candidates on the ballot, but in the end, it came down to the popular incumbent MP and the PLP's newcomer. When it was all over, Ginger MOXEY, as we said, was named the victor. But our ZNS News team also spoke with Reverend Frederick McAlpine, who congratulated MOXEY on that win.
We wish her well, and we look forward to seeing what the next 5 years will bring for the people of Pine Ridge and, of course, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas through this new governance. I'd like to take an opportunity to thank my supporters in the Pine Ridge constituency, and particularly the members of the MACPAC who worked feverishly and hard to see that I would get reelected. We were not successful, but we are extremely grateful and optimistic about the future.
And as for the way forward for the former Pine Ridge MP,
I think this is a time for me to reflect, to observe, and to give the governing party some time to see that they would do what they say they would do, and at the same time to observe the opposition and to somehow feel the pulse of the Bahamian people moving forward politically.
In West Grand Bahama and Bimini, veteran politician OBIE was able to secure that parliamentary seat after losing it in 2017. Wolscombe says he is overwhelmed by the level of support that he has received and promises to make a difference. Our Talia Hall picks up this story.
A large motorcade arriving outside of the Progressive Liberal Party's headquarters in Grand Bahama with Member of Parliament-elect for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency, OBIE Wolscombe. Wolscombe outpolling the FNM's incumbent, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe. Member of Parliament-elect for the Pine Ridge constituency, Ginger MOXEY, and Wolscombe sharing a moment during the celebration, embracing each other after securing their seats. Wolscombe, who served as MP on 2 previous terms, says he's overjoyed by the level of support that he received from the people in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency.
I feel that God has given me a second chance to be that representative and to serve the people in a way in which he'd be pleased. I'm elated that tonight I have my colleague with me, Ginger MOXEY, a young lady who I intend to work so closely with, because we're going to make an impact in Grand Bahama like you've never seen before. We're going to be responsible for the transformation of this island like you've never seen it, because we're a team. My colleagues who lost this evening, they're still a part of our team, and we're going to have them inclusive of everything we do in order to make the difference.
He says the party will continue to develop.
Predicated upon the plans that it has, this blueprint plan, I think the people of this country made a strong statement. The people of the country said, we want a new direction, we want a new day. The party laid out a plan. They expect the party to carry out that plan in its governance. I believe that all that they've rejected tells us that the Bahamian people does not accept second nature, they do not accept excuses. They want to see a government that's going to make a difference in their lives. We're going to be that government that will make a difference.
He says there will be new opportunities for Bahamians.
It means that young people could dream like I dreamt when I was a young man, what I wanted to be. It means that we can think about a society where we can get together, harmony. It means that we'll see culture explode. It means that musicians and others will have opportunities that they're not having right now. It means that new developments will come. It means that we will ensure that Bahamians are part of the entrepreneurship growth and are owners of their own land.
The Member of Parliament-elect says he's more mature, and it feels good to have another opportunity to serve the people of West Grand Bahama and Bimini.
I've learned from my experiences. I've apologized to my constituents if I did anything that might have offended them, and of the mistakes I made. I'm not a perfect man. I'm imperfect. All of us are. But I believe that my people have accepted me now, and so I can go and do the work that I want to do and to make a difference.
Now both Lilstrom and MOXEY say they will do their part to work together to help build a stronger Bahamas. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Tally. Tonight, we have reaction to the PLP's massive Election Day win. As Jamila Mizik tells us, some residents of Grand Bahama say they were not surprised by these results.
Election 2021 is now in the history books as the Progressive Liberal Party will form the next government of the Bahamas under a Davis-led administration. And today, residents on Grand Bahama are reacting to those results.
The PLP victory, to me, was expected. So I'm happy about the victory, and I would take this opportunity to congratulate the new Prime Minister as he assembled his team, which will govern the country for the next 5 years.
The truth about the matter is that the Bahamian people of today had enough, and the vote spoke for itself. And in a country, we have to realize that once you do not deliver to the Bahamian people, they will decide what they want at the end of the day.
The PLP worked. They did their research. Those old traditional habits of throwing mud, the intellectuals didn't go for that. We didn't appreciate the smear campaign. That didn't move our persuasion. People are interested in facts. We're not interested in character assassination. We want to hear what plans you have for this country.
I think last evening the entire nation spoke, and it was a total rejection of the F&M administration. I hope that the PLP can find some vision. I see they have a lot of young, new candidates who appear to be good. I don't know if they will be able to find any inroads into the old established PLP mindset, but I wish them all the best.
And these residents are sharing their expectations for the island of Grand Bahama under the Davis administration.
Just hope that as the leader of the PLP said, that they would have plans for Grand Bahama, and I hope that he would deliver on the plans that he actually have intended. There's so much that can be done in Grand Bahama, and once they deliver, I think that the island would have a bigger spin and things would begin to get better.
I expect for Bahamians to be respected. It hurt my heart every day to see big grown men on social services lines. We need to implement serious job provisions on this island for Bahamians. Give the Bahamian man back his dignity. And so I hope that the hotel that the previous government invested some over $200 million in will finally be sold. I pray and hope that the Carnival Corporation will finally bring their port here along with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line.
We are still without a proper port facility, and we are still without a proper hospital. So the agenda for the government and representatives elected last night in Freeport, they're going to have to hit the ground running.
Transparency is essential, and it's one of the grounds upon which equity can be built.
It may be something radical, but I think we need to do something about the Port Authority. I think their Their policies are oppressive and regressive, and I think we need to do something about them. Outside of Freeport itself, the rest of Grand Bahama is no better than any other family island. I see no development, no progress. When I was growing up, I heard stories of a magic city, but I don't see any magic here in Grand Bahama.
They just say we don't want work, we don't want work. It ain't no place to work. Most of the places them letting people go because ain't nobody coming in. Grand Bahama, the storm, the pandemic, Grand Bahama suffered like whoa. And I feel like during the previous government, we should not have suffered. We had 5 MPs in Parliament. We were in Parliament, but we was the island that really went in the storm. So hopefully, this is a new day. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I just hope that they stand up to the word, what they're going to do. That's the main thing, you know. For me, it doesn't matter which party, once they do what they're supposed to do, you know, for our future.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Let's go to ABACO now, where the Progressive Liberal Party won both seats on that northern island. PLP candidate Kirk Cornish defeating incumbent Darren Henfield for the North, while the PLP's John Hall Pinder polled the majority of the votes in South and Central ABACO. Now, following the smooth voting process, our Megan Shepard spoke with the new MP-elect for North ABACO.
The polls were closed and the votes were tallied. Slowly but surely, residents in North ABACO began to receive word of the results of the 2021 general election. There were 5 candidates vying to win the seat in Parliament: Darren Henfield of the FNM, Kirk Cornish of the PLP, Renato Curry of the KGM, Kai Mills of the COI, and Kathleen Seymour of RGM. At the end of the night, it was the Progressive Liberal Party's Kirk Cornish taking the win.
You know, I believe it was designed by God to happen, and I'm ecstatic. I am happy. I realize the responsibility, and it doesn't frighten me. It makes I'm honored to actually be chosen to be the worst for my people. In my opinion, we were worthless for the last 4 years and 4 months. That has changed. It's a new day. North ABACO now have representation that it can rely on, that will speak for and on behalf of them at all times.
He says as of day one, he is ready to begin his service to the constituents of North ABACO.
On day one, get going. My plans is simply, as it always has been, to serve North ABACO. I am now waiting on my party to call me and to do what our leader said. He's flying international hopefully tonight, by tomorrow, and I will be hearing from him. That is my first chart, to hear from him. Whatever that means, he is our leader, and we will move forward. But from tonight, my representation for my people has started.
Now the scene at the Free National Movement's headquarters for Darren Henfield is starkly different, though still filled with loving support. The incumbent losing his seat unofficially by 20 points. He says he is thankful to those who continue to stand with him.
The people of North ABACO have spoken, and we have to respect what they have said to us. We gave it a good run. And I want to thank them for sticking with us. We had a rough ride in the last 2 years, and here where we are. This is the manifestation of what they feel. I don't see it as an indictment on me personally. I see it as the people speaking to be heard by all who will hear them, that we want better, we want more for North ABACO.
Henfield says that despite the loss at the polls, he is still thankful to God.
I think we had a good run up of it and at it for a freshman. This is our first foray into politics. I think we represented ourselves in North ABACO respectably. I think we did the best that we could with the hand that we were dealt. And you know, I'm a spiritual man, and all things we have to give thanks for, because this is the will of God for our life. And so, you know, I move in His will.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news when we return.